Hey, what's up? Today I'm gonna be talking about um, a decision that I made. Right now is August. It's already August of 2025, and I decided to take a gap year. So I'm just gonna talk about why I decided to take a gap year. You know, so basically I decided to take a gap year because of a very simple phrase, or if I can summarize it in a very simple phrase, it will be experimentation before exploitation. So this is a phrase that I saw from Naval Ravikant. He's a very um, successful entrepreneur, and I shall say also philosopher. I love him. It's great. Recommend really following him. Um, and yeah, basically that's how I will summarize it: experimentation before exploitation. So what does that mean? That means, well, in the experimentation phase, obviously, experiment with various things. And the exploitation phase is, in this case, less understandable, maybe, but it's basically about focusing in one thing or in um, yeah, in one thing we can say. So I don't know. Let me give you an example. Let's say someone is very interested in music production, but he's also interested on arts like graphic design or something. And he's also quite interested in business. So in this case, the experimentation phase is literally experimenting with these three things. It's like, okay, go do something on those three things for a year and see what you like, right? Because while doing some, when you do something, when you actually do something, for example, in the case of music production, well, he's literally creating music and I don't know, uploading it to Spotify. Maybe one uh, gets a hit, maybe one doesn't, whatever. At the end of the day, you are actually doing that. You're doing something. You're experimenting. In the case of business, well, you can correlate it with Spotify or whatever, or you can just start a business of whatever you want. You see a problem, you start solving that problem through business, and um, you start to experiment. Right? What does that feel like? What is it like? And the case of, well, I forgot what was the other thing. What was the other thing? Well, whatever the other thing. I don't want to waste a little bit of time. You do something like that, and then at the end, after a year, after you have gone through experimentation, you're gonna better know. Okay, I really like this. I felt more useful in this thing. I really didn't like this, or maybe I liked everything, but if I had to choose, I choose this. And then after that, well, you can take whatever path you want. Like some people may go to university, and so if you are going to go to university, then you can choose. Well, you can make a more informed decision because you have actually done something, right? You have actually gone through some amount of experience in those things. Or you may not go to university and you were like, man, I was really, really obsessed with this problem in business that I was trying to solve. And I saw some level of success and I'm just gonna go all in on that. That's much more personal, but basically that's what I'm gonna do. So in my case, the things that I'm going to focusing right now, or the interests, are physics, mathematics, um, CS or computer science, and business. So those are like the things that I'm gonna be focusing right now. Because every time, since like a year ago or less, every time they ask me, where are you gonna go to study university or whatever, I always answer three things: physics, business, or computer science. And you know, I could do like two things, or I could do two. I could study uh two of those like at the same time. I don't know. I haven't really looked into universities that much right now. But yeah, basically that's what I'm gonna be doing. I'm gonna be experimenting with those three things. And in the case of computer science, well, I'm gonna be studying like the basics, obviously, but also is gonna be doing software engineering. So basically, I have a lot of ideas, and I want to really make them, and have a lot of ideas that solve a lot of problems in my life, and I want to build them. And obviously, by building them, you learn a ton, because you are literally building this thing. So right now, for example, I'm building um, a software idea that, I mean, it's not that useful. It's really useful, but it may not be that useful for other people as another idea that I have, and I'm doing it like I'm just in that phase of designing the whole system before actually going and building it, and I'm learning a ton. So that's a great way to learn to build, right? Um, so, and obviously, apart from the learning phase, you're gonna actually build something that you're gonna use. In my case, I'm gonna solve my problems, and then very likely I'm going to just distribute it to people. So I'm gonna like just market it, or however you want to say it, to people, obviously through social media or something, and maybe some idea really hits and starts to generate revenue, and in that case the business part is also coming in, um, or maybe it just doesn't hit, and I mean I don't really care because it solved my problem, right? So yeah, that's gonna be pretty cool. I mean, I'm gonna be starting to do that, like distribute these softwares and these products like later on, like in a few months, once I have built some of them that solve my problems. And in the case of physics, well, I'm very interested in it. The primary two reasons is, well, first, the first principle thinking, um, a bit tool that is built onto your brain for you to better solve any problem. And damn, I mean, if I can give a better example, is Elon Musk, right? So look at all the problems he has solved already, and the ones that he's gonna solve in the future is crazy. Obviously, he's not only himself; he's an incredible team of top engineers and experts. But you know what I mean? Like he's the leader that is saying, "Okay, this is the way we're gonna solve whatever." Blah blah blah. And well, I mean, in his own words, first principles thinking from physics has been a huge contributor and a huge help for him to solve these amazing problems. So that's, I think, a great example of how valuable and how useful these can be. And it's not only about solving problems. I'm genuinely very curious about physics. Like you're literally studying the whole universe. Like just think about it. Physics is literally the knowledge that human the knowledge, I don't know how to say that, you could say it a lot of ways, but right now I'm saying it like the knowledge that humanity came up with to better understand the universe. That's crazy. So we're talking about this big ass universe that we don't even know how big it is, and there's here a tiny uh, candle of consciousness that is humanity on earth, on the solar system. And this freaking candle of humanity has come up with a knowledge base and a tool that is really close. I mean, that's what we know, right? Maybe we're not that close. Sorry. Really close to understanding all of this. That's crazy. And that's what I love about physics. Like I already started. Like I said, I already started all of these. I'm already on kinematics, which I mean is like literally the most basic form of physics. But that's what I'm going to do, right? I'm gonna just study the foundations, which are kinematics, dynamics, basically how things move, why things move in the universe, and then energy comes up, which is how energy is distributed, transformed, conserved in the universe, right? Um, from what I have studied in physics, it's just like the tools to the physics, right? And uh, from what I know, I really love physics because it's always trying to be less wrong, and that's great because there's really not a lot of areas or knowledge from humans where that's the goal, right? To be less wrong, and I mean that's I think to the whole sciences. So yeah, that's what I love about that. And then obviously, well, there could be a lot of things where I can steer this thing. I could also obviously build stuff not only in software, because right now when I say building, I just mean software based, maybe hardware based too. Like I learned something in physics and I could actually build something and solve a problem. There's also a lot of ideas that I have, which I could solve my own problems or the problems of my house or the problems of my family. And it would be pretty cool to do that. Maybe I'm gonna do that, but obviously I need a little bit hardware knowledge. But whatever, I can learn it. It's not like a priority, but I could learn it. It would be pretty cool. So yeah, then mathematics. Well, this one is a very interesting one because this is not like basically this is about relearning math from zero to hero the right way. So basically from pre-algebra to calculus with a focus of actually understanding what the fuck. Because I mean, I already know from pre-algebra to calculus. I mean, I'm not an expert, but I already know it to some extent. But because of school, obviously, right? I mean, it's not like I didn't went to school, and I just don't get it. Like I get it, but I have come to realize, man, mathematics is like gonna be super present in the problems that I'm gonna solve or the interest that I'm gonna have. Like I'm literally interested in technology, I'm interested in business, I'm interested in engineering, all of this shit. Sorry, not shit. All of this beautiful stuff. I don't know why I said shit. Um, all of this beautiful stuff is just pure mathematics or a lot of mathematics involved, and I just don't it just doesn't feel right to me to the level of knowledge or understanding because the knowledge I have it, the understanding I really don't have it that much because obviously in my school they didn't focus that much on me understanding. They just wanted me to do blah 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 whatever long story, and I'm just like, man, why don't I just relearning from zero to hero with actually understanding? I was like, okay, great idea, so I'm gonna do that. I'm already doing that. I'm on pre-algebra because I mean all of these things I just started like 1 month ago, 2 months ago, and right now I'm on pre-algebra, and yeah, so I'm gonna learn that. I think that's great because I'm gonna learn it with an actual understanding. Okay, and I don't know. I really will advise people that are like in school or something and are learning mathematics to just look at it from another way and from another view because probably the school that you are in is not teaching you mathematics the best way possible for because you can ask your a lot of classmates on your school, hey, do you like math? Probably most people are gonna say no. So if that's the answer that you get from that school that you're in, then the school is not doing a great job because mathematics is really useful. Everyone really uses it to some extent, so everyone should be interested. Like that case, that's not a math problem. It's not that math is the problem. It's that the school is not like teaching it the right way, and that's probably most schools in the world. So if you're like in one of those schools, if you're not lucky to be in a school that is really great at that, which is probably most people, then just the only thing that you have is for you to change your lenses about how you view mathematics or how you view school in general. Now it's really difficult to do that because I really hated school. Um, like the first and second year of high school, especially the second year high school, the school that I was in, I really hated it. I don't really like to say I hated it. I just didn't like it that much. So I understand it's really difficult, but I think it's really is worth just looking back and being like, man, I have the power because you have the power of changing how you view the world. So if you can change how you view your math classes and being like, okay, I'm literally in an institution where like they are actually telling me all I need, or at least the basics of what I need. Let's just view it from another way, and mathematics are useful, whatever, and take advantage of that. Because in that case, I mean, I'm not saying in that case, well, the problem in that case, when I say the problem, it's school is more like the programs of education that the teachers and all of them are giving, right, are teaching. Because this is a thing that is like the reverse. I think most teachers are really good. Like more, obviously there's some top teachers that actually love what they're doing even if they don't make that much money. There's a lot of teachers that don't, that are there just because of the money, so that isn't the best thing to do, or that isn't the best teacher. But in general, most teachers are good. So that's very different from most schools are really good at teaching mathematics. So that's different. Because at the end of the day, most teachers need to adhere to the education plan that they have on the school. So that's what I'm saying. Um, so since probably most teachers are good, then you have a lot of teachers in a school, in an institution. You're literally having access to teachers and you can talk to them or whatever. So take advantage of it. Like if you need to tell the teacher, hey, I I just want you to to explain me this thing for 2 hours in recess or um after school, do it. Like take advantage of the school and of everyone. So whatever. I'm getting off topic, but basically, yeah, I'm gonna take a year. I'm already starting, and generally, obviously, through that year, I'm gonna do other things. Like I'm really interested in what I'm doing right now, which is just doing videos, recording. Like I think that's pretty cool. Because obviously, if people actually watch this shit, because oh, right now, no one is. So, I mean, I think yeah, once people watch this, yeah, I think it's gonna be useful for a lot of people. Maybe for a lot of people it's not, but at least for a few it's gonna be useful. And then the second reason, which is the most the reason that makes the most sense right now, because right now the first reason discarded because nobody's watching me right now is the second reason is that I just get to really develop my communication skills. I don't know how to say it, but basically it's a lot of things like develop communication skills. Also learn how to teach essentially because you have this thing in you have this idea in your head, and you just communicate it to another human. So you gotta communicate it really well, right? For the other human to be like whenever the other human is hearing you to have the most similar idea that you have in here. I don't know how to say it, but basically that's the thing. And yeah, that also really teaches you a lot. So, like for example, teachers when they are explaining something, and when you're explaining, for example, when you learn something and you explain it to someone, you're learning a ton because you're actually putting your mind into test to really test your mind if it knows it or not. It's basically a test for you to know, hey, do you actually know this? Do you actually understand this or not? So yeah, that's very valuable. I actually started with the music production example because you know, I don't know why, but I also am interested in that. I don't know if I'm gonna do some of that. I haven't started yet on that thing because I mean it's not like a top priority. It will be just more like I don't know. I mean the whole idea around that is hey, it will be like imagine just being a music producer and you're in a on the club, right? And you just hear your song is playing and everyone is just literally changing their energy around it. So everyone is literally being influenced by it. In that case, will be dancing. I don't know. I think that would be incredible feeling. And basically, how I translate that is that is a useful thing for humans. Like at the end of the day, I really like the idea of being like useful to humans. Um, yeah, that's another topic, but whatever. Like music is really useful. Like it seems like a form of entertainment, but I think it's just more than that. Sometimes, or really a lot of times, music really elevates your mood or amplifies your mood. I don't know how to say it. It's just I just love music, and if I could make music that like people love, I just nah, I don't know, man. I'm very interested in that idea. I don't know how about that. I haven't really made like oh I'm gonna do this. I'm just interested. Like imagine you make a song. Imagine I make a song, and it hits on the Spotify top 100 charts of the year or whatever. That would be so cool. There's this thing that I do a lot of the times, which is this is weird, but it's probably just my mind craving that usefulness in the case of music production or music. So a lot of times where I just hear my favorite songs and I just a lot of times I do this unconsciously where I'm like, man, I'm the one who I me I produced this. I know it sounds crazy. So for example, I'm listening to I don't know a very popular song, to a great song that I like a lot, and I'm like, or my it's not like I'm saying that to myself. It's just I'm thinking about it. It's like, oh yeah, I produced this, I made this, and that just makes me enjoy more the music that I'm listening to. So I don't know why I sometimes do that unconsciously, but maybe and probably it's just because I really will like the idea of making great music, and that's just a way for me to um, feel that craving. I don't know, man. But yeah, music is great. And what else? I mean, I really like art a lot. Okay, I'm going really off topic, right? But I don't know. I was listening to a podcast from Leonardo da Vinci. It's not like a podcast about biography of Leonardo da Vinci. And I don't know, I really like how Leonardo da Vinci thought about science and technology and engineering. So most people nowadays think about those three things or those two things like science and technology. Or sorry, no. Arts. Sorry. Arts and technology or arts and science as something separate. And when you think about it with a little amount of thought, it makes sense, right? Oh, what does science has to do with sorry with arts? And the more you start to think about it, it's kind of like related. And I just love how Da Vinci thought about this. It's a very interesting thought, and it's definitely something that needs to be related because I mean nowadays that's very useful for like making products, making goods and services. So, for example, an Apple computer, I think is a really good example of that. So, it's an incredible piece of engineering of science, and obviously, this is a little bit more subjective, but I assume most people really like the design of Apple products. So, in that case, apart from being an incredible engineering product and scientific product, if we can say that way, it's also an incredible piece of art. So if you can really combine both, you can make really valuable products. And obviously, like this is an yeah, really valuable products and goods and services. And the reason why I'm translating that vision from Da Vinci to goods and services is because nowadays in the world that we're living right now in 2025, like goods and services, the production goods and services or the economy is like super valuable, right? For us humans. That's where we find the most value on right now. Um, so yeah, I think just combining both things or just viewing it from the perspective that both things are correlated and connected. And obviously, if you make goods and services and products that solve problems, but a part of solving problems, you can combine both things. I think is great. I don't know, man. I'm going off topic, but yeah, that's why I'm taking a gap year. I don't know. Obviously, there's these I shall say like cons to taking a gap year because I was actually thinking, no, I was actually talking with some family members and they just didn't like the idea at all. Literally, the conversation was, "Hey, what are you gonna do?" Okay, so I'm gonna take a gap year, and after saying that, I was gonna say something else. Literally, explain the whole thing that I explained in this video, and before I could just talk, I was literally about to talk, and boom, like the explosion hit me, and they just basically, if we can summarize it, said to me, "That's a terrible idea. You're a dumbass." In like 10 minutes of pure talking. Yeah, I really felt a little discouraged after that conversation because they're family members. They're not that close, but they're still close. And, they're literally telling you that, hey, you're a dumbass. Why are you doing this? This is stupid. Now, I obviously understand their arguments. One of their arguments was a lot of people don't do shit in their gap year, and that's true. So that's like a thing that if you are gonna take a gap year or you're gonna take a break or something, you really need to like watch for that because if you don't do shit, then it's not productive at all. It's not valuable at all. Like if you're actually gonna do stuff and experiment and whatever, I think this is very valuable. I mean, yeah, let's go. So I don't know, man. This is advice that is very personal, but yeah, I'm taking a gap year, yeah, and a lot of people are not gonna like it. Yeah, a lot of people are not gonna like it, and I don't care, bro. Like it's my life. It's my life. So yeah, a lot of stuff that I could say, but oh, I forgot about another one that's really important. Just gonna also really dedicate a lot of time this gap year to reading, listening to podcasts, like just acquiring as much information as possible, because about the world, right? At the end of the day, we have this human consciousness bubble, or however you want to see it, of all the knowledge of humanity, all the ideas of humanity, all the inventions, all the knowledge, whatever you want to say. And I think it would pretty, I mean, it's pretty useful as a human being. If you want to be useful, I think you gotta know something about humanity, you know? Because if you know something about humanity, it gives you a context, a better, and with that context, you can make better things, better decisions or whatever, therefore be a little bit more useful. I don't know. Is That's one part to be more useful. Um, and another part is just natural curiosity. I'm really curious. Like, how the fuck can I get as much of this? Obviously, I'm not gonna be getting all of that. It will take probably all my life to read all the books. Like, that's impossible. I cannot do that right now. But how can I get as much of it? That's really interesting. So yeah, reading books, listening to podcasts, I think is gonna be really useful. I have been doing that for quite some time, and right now I'm ramping up the amount of hours, and it's really useful. But books is just books, man. It's just like the most. Is books are books. That's what I can say. So yeah, I don't know. History, philosophy, science fiction, all of that things really interesting. Obviously, biographies. Like I said, I was listening to the one from Leonardo da Vinci. I don't know. I really advise people to just learn a lot. So yeah, that's my data set. And we will just wrap it up.